Welcome to yet again another amazing episode. Can you believe it? It's the end of June. Just like that, the year is running. I don't know if you can feel it, but for me, I do. And if it's your first time here, my name is Jacinta Wangeshi, and we talk about all things relationships, all things women, all things that are actually related to women and relationships, one way or the other, though sometimes they do a sprinkle of here and there about normal women issues. But the month of June has been a bit different because I have had to talk just generally to both the women and the women. And today is not going to be an exception because I'm going to be talking about something, but it's in relationship that is facing both the men and the women. So don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Karibu. I just talked a bit about it during the last video, and if you have not watched the other video about being real, please go back and watch it. It's the one before this. And I just touched on something that I talked about in May. I had that conversation, which was a real eye-opener based on the comments that I received. And please feel free to reach out to me through any of my socials. So this one particularly came in through Facebook, where I highlighted about 3 ways that people deal with toxic relationships, or how do they act when you're in a toxic relationship, either as men or women. How do you act? And this is what I touched on. And I'm just going to be expounding more on that, just in case you were not able to listen in on this conversation. I talked about person, I'll just be naming them in letters. I'll talk about alphabets actually. I'll talk about person A, person B, and person C. And the reason why I'm not going to just call it woman A, woman B, and C is because this is not just a specific problem that happens to women. As I keep saying, toxicity knows no gender. So whether you're a man or a woman, this affects all of us in both spectrums. So anyway, I'll be talking about person A. Person A, the 3 persons here, person A, B, and C, are all people who are in a toxic relationship or have just found themselves in a toxic relationship where either they are being abused, they're being cheated on, they're going through a roller coaster of emotions. And if you do not know even what a toxic relationship is, then I suggest that you go through the previous videos where I've even talked about signs and even how do you know whether you're in a toxic relationship, just the normal Q&As or questions that people ask themselves about toxic relationships. I have covered all of them. So if you find yourself in these relationships and you're there, how do you deal with them? So according to my own research, I'm talking about how I have seen, because I have been working with women in this sector now for a while, you will either fall between the 3 persons or groups. Either you'll be person A, B, or C. And who is person A and how do they look like? Person A is this person who decides, okay, I'm in a toxic relationship where I'm being mistreated, not just being mistreated, but abused. Maybe it can be physically, it can be emotionally, it can even be sexually, it can be financially. I am also being cheated on. Maybe the person that I'm in with is disrespecting me. He or she is having affairs. So what does person A decide? Person A decides that I am going to live with it. And what even makes this person live with it, and even what does living with it look like? It looks like you deciding that it has happened before, especially in the African culture, where we hear so many women being like, well, my grandmother was beaten up, but she stayed. My mom was beaten up, but she stayed. So he decides, you know what? I'm also going to be just like them. I'm going to sit here, hope that one day this person might change. And if they don't change, maybe they're just going to die and leave me with maybe the wealth. If they're abusing me financially, they might live on. They might pass on before me. So I'm just going to wait it out. Yeah. And they decide to just live with it. So what are some of the things that leads to person A having such a mindset? person A has this mindset because of maybe upbringing. Like I've said, they saw their grandmothers, their mothers go through this vicious cycle, and they just don't have the tolerance or the resilience or the mindset to want better, or they do not even know better, so they stay there. Two, it can be their support system. Maybe their friends, their parents, they're very comfortable with telling them, you know what, this is normal. We know that there are people who actually believe that, especially as women, they believe that there's some who has this mindset that if I'm not beaten, then I'm not loved. So how will you tell that person that that is abuse? They are very okay with it. Yeah, these are some of the issue. It can also go to their tolerance level, whereby we know that there's somebody who receives the first slap and they walk out, but somebody else, it will take them to even, they will never even leave. They stay there until they live there in a coffin. So there are a bunch of many other reasons that maybe in the future videos I might look specifically at this person, explain them out, see what they have gone through even through their childhood. It is normally just a whole bunch of things that consolidate to this person becoming person A, who decides to just live with the issue as it is. They live with the abuse. There'll be these people that I will have friends and family contact me and they're like, talk to my sister, talk to my mom, talk to my friend. She's in a very bad relationship. She will be beaten blue and black. She'll be, if it's a woman, there'll be these people who will have broken limbs, but then they leave the hospital and go right back to the abuser. Why is that? Yeah, this is person A. They have chosen to live with the situation. And then I will go to person B. Person B is another kind of person. She's in the same environment, or he is in the same environment of toxicity, of bad relationships, but this person thinks differently. According to their mindset, they decide if you can beat them, join them. So how do they do this? Well, person B decides, if you're cheating on me, I'm also going to have a side guy or a side chick on the side. If you're beating me, I'd rather take karate classes and we compete. These are, if you're in a neighborhood, the houses where you hear, those ones, just let them be. They always fight. They actually find a way to beat up each other. This will be person who will be thinking, you know what? You do unto me, I do unto you. Yeah, the husband or maybe the man in the relationship doesn't spend the nights at home, is out all weekend, the woman follows suit. You go out, I go out. Not necessarily because I'm an outgoing person, but because I feel like I get satisfaction by hurting you, even if you might never know it. And I'm speaking especially on behalf of women, the women who even have affairs with their husband's best friends or bosses. The husbands might never find out, but this woman comes back and says, you know what, I was able to live in that marriage just for that reason. Even if they'll never find out, they feel like I have done it, so I'm better or I'm okay. And the sad thing is that unlike person A, it even hurts you more. It hurts you more because this is like drinking acid and expecting the other person to die. Why? When you're engaging in all these things, when you're being who you're not supposed to be, sometimes you even block out the emotions. So you decide, I'm not going to be feeling any pain. And in this whole issue of not feeling pain or not feeling because you're in a very toxic relationship, and this applies to both person A and B, when for you to deal or for you to just be able to survive, what happens is that you develop a coping mechanism. Most of the time is that you block out these bad emotions, you block out the sadness, you block out the heartache. And as you're blocking this, you forget that you do not just block out one part of the emotion. You don't choose that you're blocking out the bad and accepting the good. You actually block out everything. You are the same way you cannot feel the pain, you cannot feel the joy. You're not able to experience what it means to just wake up in the morning, have a beautiful day, because every single day, either you're living in the past, you're living in the future, this person is going to hurt me, they're not going to leave me anything, they're not going this and this, what are they doing? You are actually not living, you're just basically, what I will say for lack of a better word, just a walking corpse. Yeah. And now it even becomes worse because at the end of it all, when you're person B, you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, who is this? How did I become this person? Because it's not you. This is not you. You've just adapted a behavior to be able to cope or to survive living with toxicity or in such a harmful environment. And then there is person C. Person C is Jacintas, the Jacintas of this world. The me who decides, you know what? I'm not going to live with it. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm actually going to change it. And what does that mean? That means that you take responsibility and you say, okay, I made a mistake. I actually maybe chose someone for the wrong reasons, or I made a mistake somewhere in choosing somebody who would come into my life and actually hurt me. What can I do about this? Or what is it which are parts of me that actually attracted me to this person? So you work on yourself, you heal your traumas, you just do the shadow work, which is bringing the unknown into the known, because 95% of our actions and choices are actually contributed or they're all based on the unknown. They're based on our subconscious. So with that, it means that if you're only able to bring that unknown parts of you that make these choices and decisions, then you can start changing your world as it is. So the Jacintas are actually the person C who decide, you know what, I deserve better, I want better, and I can be better. So you start the healing journey. And it's not an easy thing, but it is definitely the most rewarding thing you can ever do for yourself. So another question that maybe somebody out there might be asking themselves is there hope for person A and B? And let me just say, there is hope. There is hope for anyone to change. There is hope for everyone to actually get from person A and B to becoming person C. And sometimes, even person C has actually been person A and B. I personally know that I have been through those and I have been those people before. And I was able to finally become person C, who desires to have something better and knows that you're not tied to anyone. Your destiny is way bigger. Who you are as a person is way bigger. But what is the difference? Responsibility. You have to look at all the things that are keeping you in that relationship as excuses, because it is the tough reality. Whatever is keeping you, is it finances? Is it children? Is it all these things are actually excuses. And I know it is tough, especially when I say to women who come to me and tell me, Jacinta, this person provides for me everything. I am not economically stable to be able to support a family. Why do I say it's an excuse? Because ask yourself, if this person died today, does your life stop? Do you die as well? Do your kids just magically disappear? There have been people who have been known, both men and women, to walk out with nothing. Women have slept under bridges with children. Men have actually moved out with nothing but just a backpack or some few clothes out of houses just to find peace. So money has got nothing to do with you being in a toxic relationship. Whichever other reason you might actually look at it, it is never a reason, it is an excuse. But you'll only be able to figure that out when you're person C, when you stop thinking of somebody else coming to save you, but you actually take the responsibility. So I'm hoping that I've been able to talk about this and to communicate about this, and that it's helpful, especially for you who is in a toxic relationship. I'm hoping that you can be able to classify yourself, see where you fit. And if you know somebody who's dealing with toxicity, is in a toxic relationship, man or woman, please share this video with them. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And for my returning viewers and subscribers, a very big thank you. And I hope to see you in the next video. And until then, bye-bye.